Hey y'all, this is Jake Smoker here, and today we're going to talk about the iPhone SE 2. But first, I would like it if the family members were to say hi. Hey Grandpa, I'm redoing the video. Want to say hi?
I'm Grandpa Marv.
Yep, he's my grandfather from Pennsylvania. Hey, we're redoing the video. Does anyone else want to say hi again?
Oh, we're doing a new one.
No, it kind of got messed up because okay.
Hello.
Hey, does anyone else want to be in the video? Callum, we're redoing the video.
Why don't you just move?
But today we're going to talk about 12 features of the iPhone SE 2 that I would improve in the next year, and either this year or in 2019, because actually I want to work at Apple headquarters when I'm older. So the first 6 are talking about the features that the SE had that the iPhone 6s. The features that the 6s had that the iPhone SE counterpart, or whatever it's called, but y'all probably get the idea, lacked. But hey, want to say hi?
Check out my channel. It's called Cool Guy.
Yeah, he only has 5 subs, so if y'all want to subscribe, you should probably subscribe. Stop, that's unnecessary. Okay, but anyways, we're going to talk about the 10 features. First is a bigger screen, and the same. First is the bigger screen and the same. And first is the bigger screen and the same. And the same body. Yeah. So instead of doing a 4.4 inch screen, I would probably increase it to like 4.3 inches, because if you've seen some Android phones are like in the are like 6 inches or more with a much taller aspect ratio of like 18 by 9, 18.5 by 9, or 18.5 by 9 on Samsung or some other ones. But Levi, that's a little bit distracting, but however, that's the first feature I would change. Next is the front camera, which with the iPhone SE is only 1.2 megapixels, and people using an old and people using a new phone from March of 2016 would have to experience the selfie camera of an iPhone. It still has retina flash and stuff that the iPhone 5s lacked, but however, they experienced the selfie camera of a 4.5-year-old smartphone. So next I'd upgrade the front camera somewhere between 2 and 5 megapixels. Third is 3D touch. So even on the iPad here, just a minute. Okay. Next is 3D touch, which, as you can see, I'm not sure if I'd add the click, but however, 3D touch would be necessary. As you can see here, it's added into the control center of all 64-bit devices with iOS 11. However, the thing is that you actually can't feel the click. Like here, as you can see, yep, you can't actually feel the click. Next, I'd increase the battery size by a little bit, still less than the 1715 milliamp battery on the iPhone 6s, but still higher. Probably I'd say somewhere between 1650 milliamps and 1700 milliamps. So some other stuff might cancel out the bigger battery, like the bigger screen, and also I'd bump up the resolution to keep the resolution at 326 pixels per inch. Sorry, I forgot about mentioning it. Next is a stronger aluminum. Maybe not necessarily the 7000 series aluminum on the 6S and 7 series, but however, a stronger kind of aluminum, like a stronger kind of aluminum that would be more durable, like maybe 6000 series or something like that. 6 is second generation Touch ID, which so on the iPhone S, generally speaking, the second generation Touch ID outperformed the first generation Touch ID in terms of speed. So a second generation Touch ID sensor would be really necessary at this point. And actually, I wouldn't add Face ID because I would want it to be more like a cross between a 6S and 7 and maybe an iPhone 8. Okay, so those are the features talking about what the iPhone 6s had that the SE lacked. But now we're going to talk about the next features. Number 7 is the A10 Fusion processor with the same 2 gigabytes of RAM. No, there would not be 3 gigabytes of RAM like on the iPhone 7 Plus, because it's just I don't think 3 gigabyte. It's just I don't think a smaller I don't think the SE, I'm not sure if it would be necessary for an SE to have more gigabytes of RAM than the 4.7-inch counterpart. But, yeah, so, number 8 is a better rear camera, so it would still remain at 12 megapixels, but however, I'm thinking about maybe lowering not as good as the 7, but still better than a 6S. There would still be no OIS. I'd change the f-stop. Oh yeah, I was going to say also about the front camera. I would change the f-stop from 2.4 to 2.3 or 2.2, which 2.2 is with the iPhone 7. However, I'd change it to at least, I'd lower and improve it to at least 2.3. And by the way, you want to lower f-stop for better low light photos, which I already mentioned that, but for y'all who haven't seen the video. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'd add the quad LED flash like on the iPhone 7. I definitely wouldn't add the slow sync, but however, I would improve the rear camera, and if I haven't mentioned it yet, I wouldn't add optical image stabilization. Next is a lower version of IP67. So most phones with IP67 are almost all phones with IP67 are water resistant down to 3 feet and 3.37 inches or 1 meter for 30 minutes. However, what I would do for the IP67 is, which it would be quite rare, but I would probably do it only for 3 feet, since it might not be made for it. Next is improved speakers. So next is improved speakers, and actually I was gonna say even though it will have a smaller battery than the 6S, it is worth noting that the SE did outperform the 6S in like almost all cases. But however, improved speaker. So so I'd add the front-facing speaker and the earpiece. I wouldn't make the earpiece speaker as wide, and along with the bottom-facing speaker, which actually they wouldn't be as loud as the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. But however, I would add in a front-facing speaker, and again, it would only work the front-facing speaker would only work in landscape mode. Now, this one I wouldn't want to add, but solid-state home button. So I realized that, so I realized I'd probably remove the headphone jack, and if I were to remove the headphone jack, then improvements would be necessary for stuff like the solid-state home button. But however, the solid-state home button, which is good, like if you want to prevent your home button like from breaking or something. So a solid-state home button like on the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. And then lastly, number 12. I do care about graphics. Like from the 2G to the 8 Plus, and X, from like the 2G and 3G to the 8 Plus, and X. There's probably been a huge improvement in graphics, like noticeable, but like from one year to another, there isn't. But however, I would probably improve graphics in gaming. So, like graphics could be really good for gaming. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all enjoyed this video in the new scene. There's my brother again. Bye.